Showed a pretty serious injury to Sam, it looks like. Do you have any updates for what's the story there?
I can't give you any more. I think Matthew Egan might have spoken during or after the game, and I can't really elaborate until the medicos have got the results of a scan. So obviously the club will fill you in as quickly as we can.
It sounds like the initial. It looks like it's the worst case. Is that what sounds like within the club as well?
Oh, it's fair to say that we're a bit concerned, but again, because I don't know, there's no use me even trying, because and let's not speculate. But I think the important thing is, and I just said to the group, Sam comes in, he probably knows that he might have a serious knee injury, but he's in the huddle, arms around his teammates, singing the song. Just shows what sort of character he is. But if we lose him for a while, then we've just got to do it a different way and look after him.
I can imagine at quarter time would have been extremely tough on the group after that moment. How did you, as a group, rally and then play some of your best football of the year immediately after something like that?
Well, I think sometimes the players know the extent of things. Maybe the quite significant concussions are examples. Where there's stretches involved and the endocrine system kicks in and the emotions, and sometimes it's hard to function. But I didn't think for a minute that the players deviated from what their challenge was, or were affected in a detrimental way because of what may have happened to Sam. So they held it together, and obviously now with the sub you're back to 22 straight away. So the enormity of the task tonight with St Kilda's energy and what they've been doing and challenging teams and winning their three and looking pretty good from nearly every round. It was important that we stuck to task. We weren't happy with the way we started, and there were some things that we discussed that were imperatives, that we had to get right, and early it looked off. So we did have a chat about that, and the players really responded. So it was quite an important next 3 quarters.
Someone who rallied particularly well after quarter time was Aaron Norton. He's been in the full line at times with 4 tools. It was just him tonight after Sam left the field, but you're going to be pretty impressed with how he performed.
Yeah, I thought he really stood up and put his sort of leadership hat in the ring, and he probably missed some chances too to really get some spoils, but really happy with the way he responded after quarter time, because I think early in the game he probably wasn't quite where we needed him to be, even with Sam there. So it was a pretty important role he played tonight.
Did that make the performance even more pleasing, given to come back from the early injury to Sam, and you gave up 3 of the first 4 goals as well, and to come back from that to win by over 70 points, was that really a pleasing aspect of the performance?
Well, I think so. The competition, is. It's hard to say how even it is, but you see Melbourne, who hadn't won a game, beat Fremantle and do it a different way when it was really impressive. And we see Richmond beat Gold Coast last night, and there's examples everywhere of upsets or possible upsets. Even last week, at half time, I don't know whether being in front of the reigning premiers by that much, and then we weren't ourselves in the second half, even though you try to factor in some of the challenges that other than Brisbane that were there, and it's hard to put your finger on it at times. But the comp each week you have to step up, and you can't have the opposition remind you of how much you need to step up. And we had a little bit of that at the start of the game with the Saints, and so I think to a man, whether they're our experienced players or some of the new bloods who haven't played a lot of footy, just their composure and their time with the footy and their lateral movement, their agility, their game sense and the skill components. It was well as we've distributed and used the ball for a while, and that was really encouraging. So, yeah, it'd be nice to take that forward. We've got a big challenge the Anzac weekend. We've got GWS and Canberra on Saturday, so it's a huge challenge for us. But now we've been thereabouts, and we'd like to frank our momentum a bit and have a really good outing next week.
How pleased were you with London Palace return?
Yeah, I just got asked by BT and his little expose after the game, which is always good to chat to Brian. You're laughing, I'm serious. I love BT. He said, the expectations, and were you surprised? No, not really. I don't think anyone is by what Marcus can do, and kicking the longer goals off a long break is always something that usually takes a while and finding a rhythm. But he was quite outstanding. I mean, when you're that good a ball handler, you understand the game as well as him, and you've got that much courage and presence. Hopefully he's a handful week to week, but he's just been a pro in his rehab, and he and Neil have just opened a cafe actually just there in Kew. So track that down. I can't remember that. What's the name of it? What is it? Arthur's Cafe in Kew. There you go. There's I haven't got Instagram or a social media presence, so.
What's best on the menu?
Well, I know there's coffee, and I think the menu's going to be, pretty exquisite and on point. But I can't give you any detail. I'm low on that. So he's worked hard in his rehab, but he's had a little project with opening a new little enterprise. So hopefully that goes well for him.
You mentioned a few of the younger players earlier. I think Riley Sanders appears to be really blossoming now. I mean, he was sort of like an in and out sort of year last year, but it really seems like he's really fulfilling the promise that we all sort of expected.
Yeah, Riley's still learning on the job a little bit. He's playing subtly different roles here and there, but he had a new challenge tonight coming off the back of last week that he may not have had in the previous week or two. And so we felt he'd put it mostly together tonight, and he's an example of one of those new players that I mentioned that seemed to have time with the ball in his hands, used it pretty well most of the time. And what he's establishing is he's got pretty good goal sense as well. He's a good score-assist player, and he can complete the plays that look like they should go through the big sticks. So that's encouraging to have midfielders who are goal kickers. And yeah, we like the momentum that he's building into the season.
I can only imagine I have a few meetings about this week, but we saw Lob played a little bit forward. Buku started forward tonight. How are you going to replace Sam in that forward line if you don't get surprisingly good news?
Well, we've got role player options, as you just alluded to there. And we swung James and Buku tonight. James O'Donnell has been playing forward, and Buku has been playing as a key back, and we flipped them over. And designs on a player and their plan A role prevails at times. Buku can play either end of the ground as James can. We think long term James is probably more of a key back for us. It's not in the plan A approach to the game to play Rory forward at the start of a game, but it is an option, and he'll do anything for the team. He's a great team man like that. And then the other option is just to play a bit smaller at times. We obviously need a second ruck, and Sam can do that at times. And so whether it's Buku or James or Aaron at times, do we need someone else there to give him a chop out? It's hard rucking from your back end with the secondary, but we'll take that all into account, and we'll pick a balanced team. Because the thing about coming up against the Giants, they're really big based on what the teams have been picking at either end of the ground. got four pretty big key sort of backs, and they got some pretty robust key forwards. Although Jesse Hogan didn't play the other day, so we'll take a bit of that into account and look at the team and try and pick the best one we can to beat them.
And the obvious name that wasn't part of your mention there's no update on Jemiah's availability anytime soon.
No, I think that's obviously not going to happen in the immediate term, so it's probably not worth discussing at the moment. And so as far as any replacements go, really can't consider Mara. Happy? Thanks everyone.